You about ready? You
I'm
know, it's
ready.
football going on. Football, you know
I
what
know.
I'm
Let's go.
saying? You know what I'm saying? We got to get this football going on today. All
Yeah.
right. So, please and best, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Black Coffee Podcast, UNIA World. That's what I'm brought to you by. I am your host, James Allen. Today we have with us creative director, superstar, model, UNIA World's own Marie Antoinette. So real quick, Marie Antoinette, just so my fan base can know who you are, just give a little description of, who you are and, a little bit.
Marie Antoinette is a brand of all things art, creative, fashion, and just with a mission to bring awareness to societal issues and give back to the community and that type of thing.
Great. And she's really a great friend of mine. I love the way our careers are really curled out. All right, but let's jump right into it, Marie. Part 2, this melanin thing. You got a real big buzz about this now, because I'm a part of Part 2, which is the reason why we're doing this interview, and we're going to discuss some things a little bit later on that,
okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it because I don't like the way things are being cut out. And it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not used to being on this side of TV. You know what I mean? I'm the interviewer. So being that I said some things, but we're going to talk about that. But what's going to be different about Part 2 and Part 1? And tell everybody what I'm talking about for those who don't know what I'm talking about.
So melanin was an idea I came up with. It started off as just a little small project I was going to do in between fashion shows, because that's what I do. My last fashion show was Sapphire Diamonds, and I was making that annual. So in between that one and the one I was going to have this year, I decided to do a coffee table book called Melanin, addressing colorism in a different way, more artistic, and just showing appreciation for all shades of black and not getting into this thing of light versus dark, blah, blah, blah. So I always like to document any of my projects, meaning like video in it. So I'm like, okay, I want to do like some speaking, a documentary part of this coffee table book. So, which I did. So all the models that were selected and people that I knew, like yourself, I asked them to come do the documentary and speak on colorism. And so Part 1 came out, and then Part 2 is coming out. So Part 2 is really footage that I seen that wasn't a part of Part 1, because
How well do I know?
Yeah. I don't like to keep things extremely long, because people's attention span is
absolutely
of a 1-year-old. So when I saw some of the other footage, I was like, oh, this is good, because I feel like it got a little bit deeper. Part 1 was just touching the surface on what we were talking about, why we were talking about it. And Part 2 gets into deeper conversations of that whole process.
And one of the things in the preview, I talked about me dating light-skinned women because I am a darker male, which I love and I embrace. And but the way it was cut out, it made me feel like, hold up, I don't like dark women though, darker skinned women. And that was kind of, I ain't gonna say my issue, but I was like, hold up, where's this thing really going? So I just want to talk to you about that. Do you think the whole and I do want to touch on something else I heard. You did an interview not too long ago. Can you explain who that interviewer was? And so everybody can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I met her when I was getting ready to do the book signing. And I was at a radio show that she was a part of. And then she came to the book signing, and I liked her energy. And now she has, I don't know, maybe it's a talk show or podcast, or it's called Marvelous Mind. And so she has great energy. So we spoke again, and we did that interview, talking about.
And one of the things that gravitated from that interview was when you was like, you didn't see any darker women. You didn't see any darker women. You didn't see any darker women.
But wait, we talking about two different things. Okay, first, do you want to address your part in Melanin Part 1 or 2?
Yeah, that's what I was
okay. What do you want to talk about first?
Yeah.
Okay, what part do you want to go into first?
You can address the one about my part in Melanin.
Okay, so I understand you saying you don't know where it's going, but I don't see nothing wrong with what you said. Number one, you didn't say I don't like dark-skinned girls. You didn't say that. You said you have a thing for light-skinned girls. And in part 2 is when I say there's nothing wrong with that. You can have a preference. I don't think it's a good idea to make people feel bad about what they're attracted to.
Right.
So that's
right.
not the point. That's not the point.
But do you understand where I'm coming from with that though? Because it's like people automatically think, oh, if you don't like one thing, okay, well, if you like one thing, you must not like the other.
Yeah, and that's why I've gotten to the point, for me personally, I can't really care what people keep thinking, because you're not going to please everybody. And to me, you feel how you feel. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not the... My thing is this, when it comes to colorism, you can't mistreat somebody. I don't think that's the problem.
Yeah.
You can't treat somebody so much better because they look a certain way, because they have a certain complexion, and then mistreat somebody else. If you say, this is what I find attractive, so, like, that's just how I feel. And if you feel you have a more affinity for a certain complexion, I don't think you need to be knocked for that. So for me personally, I don't see nothing. You may feel some type of way, how it may look to other people, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But then again, like I told you, I know and dated a lot of women that only date dark-skinned men. Like, they may talk to you a little bit, but when it comes to time being serious, if you ain't dark, they're not going to talk to you. So it's
that's with anything. Some women don't like shorter guys. Some women don't, or vice versa. Some guys don't like tall girls. So some people don't like heavyset people. So what are you gonna do? Say you gotta like this? Because that's not my point of this at all. So if they can't come for you, they don't come for my friend, y'all. Period.
Like, yo, man, what you got? All right. Now so you say you have something coming up with men, and when it comes to melanin, talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so the documentary is a docu-series. So I've divided it up into different episodes. So this is part 2 of episode 1 that's coming out. But I'm going to have episodes with men that I do want to invite you back to be a part of, and getting their perspective 2 different ways on either their experience with colorism, and we can talk about the interview with LaCora with me saying that I didn't see it.
And I guess that's what I'm getting to, because like now I'm starting to see it from the male perspective. You know what I'm saying? That I guess that's where I'm getting at.
Yes, yes. So I want to do that, and just how black men view colorism, what they think of it through women's lens, because I think some men think, they just sensitive to that. That don't mean nothing. And sometimes I think it's like they don't understand how deeper it goes for some of us, or some people experienced it. So I want to have an episode on them talking about what they've experienced themselves, and then what do they think that women experience for themselves. Because even as a woman, like when you talked about your story of colorism, I would have never thought it affected you when you were younger. Because it seemed like...
Absolutely.
Right? Because I feel like dudes joke and stuff with each other all the time, and it's not a big
booty
deal.
Scratcher, like, I already knew. When I was in the cast, you already knew Black Booty Scratcher or African Booty Scratcher was coming. Yeah. I even had one time somebody did this. They said, I'm hyping you up. You know how you hype a black and mild? Called me a black and mild. They said he was hyping me. Called me, yes.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to take, and everybody be laughing. So yes, it had an effect on me. But like I said, when I got to college, it was like, oh, I want to date you because you're dark skinned. So it was really different. It was really different. All right. Well, tell everybody where they can see part 1, buy your book, all that other good stuff.
So you can go to my YouTube, which is Marie Antoinette, to see the documentary. The other queen, Marie Antoinette, may come up, so you might have to put in Marie Antoinette.
I saw that. I saw that one time.
Yeah. You might have to put in Marie Antoinette Melanin, and then to buy the book, you can go to www.melanin929.com or my website, marieantoinette929.com, and